What's going on, everybody? It's PapaStones coming back with another video. So today we're going to be doing Market Watch Wednesday, but it's a little different this time. We're just going to be looking at Twilight of the Republic, with the official release being in a couple days. Want to see if you haven't already bought in boxes, if it's worth your time, or what you think about pricing in general. So we're going best-selling Twilight of the Republic. We got all the stuff here, the boxes, the cases. They're pretty low coming off the rip, and we'll get into why. But we're starting at the top here. We got Now There Are Two of Them. 8 listings, $35. $36. Definitely one of the best cards of the set. If you watched my last video ranking legendaries, I think I had this in second. But definitely the most explosive, and if you are planning on playing it, it is worth owning. But other than that, the prices are pretty rough. We got Maul, lowest listing at $22.88. It's surprising me that one's up there. I'm not sure if it's as playable or if it's just based solely on the fact that it's a legendary Maul and the art on it is super sweet. But still, moving on though, we got General Grievous in third. I put this as my number one legendary from the set. The only problem with it is, let's be honest, it's just not that flashy, right? Like, it's a 4/4 for 3. It's just a stat stick. And realistically, people don't care about that as much. They'll just play a 3/4 and take the L. But it's still, if you own these, it's worth playing them, right? And if you don't, and you want to have the edge in that situation, it's probably worth owning. $20 isn't terrible. Moving on though, we got Cad Bane. Decent to say. I'm kind of on the money so far, actually, on what I think is decent. But we got Cad Bane. I think this makes an inclusion in some of the Boba Yellow lists and the Boba Green lists, assuming he doesn't get nerfed or banned or whatever people are thinking. I know they said they were talking about doing something for it, but at this rate, I mean, we still haven't heard anything. I'm wondering if they'll let it ride. Who knows? If they do, I think Cad Bane's a house. $15 is surprising. Like I said, a lot of these legendaries are a lot cheaper than you would hope. So if you don't have your set of Cads, I'd actually maybe hold off on this one particularly, just because as of right now, I mean, maybe there's other yellow villainy decks that you'll throw this in, but the common denominator is Boba, and if they do, like I said, do anything with Boba, then it'll feel worse that you spent your money on it. But if you happen to pull them, I wouldn't get rid of them. Moving on though, we've got Ahsoka. It is $11. So after the first 4 legendaries, we have taken almost down to single digits already. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know. I told my buddy, because I mean, I pulled average, right? I told my buddy though, if the next set rolls around and it's still going solid, I probably, unless it looks just insane, I'll probably just buy singles. I don't know, maybe I like opening boxes. It's fun, right? But financially, it doesn't make sense, right? Like, you could almost buy everything you need for dirt, right? Like, if you're like, one of my boxes, we'll get to them, had like a planetary invasion and a gore, right? And it's like, that's like $10, and I spent, $90 on it. So in those situations, it feels bad, right? But opening boxes is fun, I can't deny it. But if you're strictly looking to make money, then singles are generally the route. Also, side note, while my dog's shaking and freaking out, I think it'd be a decent spot to hold your cards right now. Maybe not, like maybe some of the worst ones that probably will never see the light of day, right? If you can get something out of them, it's probably better than nothing. But there hasn't been any big tournaments yet. there hasn't been any relevance to say like what's going to be the top thing. So I think people are selling these pretty low. Like I said, now there are two of them is the only card above $30, which is surprising to me, right? Because like say Boba does take off, like they don't do anything about it. PQ's season 1 rolls around, right? With the next set, Cad Bane's going to be an include, I'm pretty sure. So 15 versus whatever they would go up to, probably worth. Now moving on though, we've got Key Audi Monday, excuse me. $11. That one kind of surprised me. I think it's just based on stats alone, because the coordinates generally just a benefit, but who knows, maybe it sees some action. We got Ayala at $11. I think this one's kind of a house, honestly. I know if you're playing it specifically in green-red hero, you're just going to play Poe. But if you're playing it anything else, like green-yellow hero or green-red hero, this is the best thing you can be doing on 5 if you have the coordinate. So I think that's a good card. Satine, I'm not sure why this one's so expensive. Or I shouldn't say so expensive. $7, but I think it's average. Like, maybe later on down the line it gets some support to make it better, but as of right now, like, it just seems bad, right? Spending 4 for a 0/6. Against aggro, it does nothing, right? You're never going to play it. It's going to be a resource. And against control, they get the benefits as well. So they're probably just going to do the same thing you're trying to do. So I think it's bad. Gore, $9. I also think this one's kind of rough. Just not fantastic, right? Like, it's just a worse Maul. But I guess Maul is specifically villainy, right? But who knows? Maybe it sees some play. I don't know. I just don't think it does. Clone at 8, 7, whatever, 7, I think. Also kind of a stinker. Definitely just a side deck card. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? But I feel like it's only for control side decks. Chancellor just has no home right now. At $4, it might be worth picking up just in case he does find a home. But yeah, $4 is absurd. Basically, any of these cards I talk about, like if they're under $5 and you've got, you know, disposable income you don't mind spending, you might as well pick them up if you're like just planning on playing the game for a bit, because if they do find a home, they go up, right? So there's that. I think Resolute can definitely be a house. I think this is the sleeper of this set. However, it is very dependent on if token decks become viable. Because if they don't, right, the best case scenario, you'll probably get this out as like a 7 cost, 8/8. But if you're at the point, maybe a 6 cost and not feel horrible about playing it, but like if you play it for 5, right, and you have 25 damage on your base, you're probably way behind and you can't really afford to spend a turn playing just a big spaceship. So hopefully it picks up some value. I don't know. I think it, like I said, if tokens become viable, this card's crazy, but if not, it's kind of just mid. Limited power. I talked about this in my last video. I think it suffers from aspects particularly. I think if it was like single red or red black, it would be super playable. But as a double red, it just doesn't really fit into anything as of right now. Maybe there's some secret mace list coming, but who knows? I don't see it. Maybe I'll work on something, see what I can do, right? Then we got Christophsis, $2. That's pretty solid. It's basically just kind of a worse laser blast. Realistically, I think it just becomes a more expensive 90% of the time laser blast for heroism, but who knows. A side note, I don't know if this will stay this way, but all the showcases, I normally don't talk about them, all the showcases are crazy priced, right? Like, you look back at last set and you had like Hondo. I saw someone on Facebook today selling it for $80. And then you got like Kinlan Voss for 400, Chancellor for 350, Yoda for 500. Like, that's saying these are even playable, you know what I mean? Like, none of that's guaranteed, right? But Grievous for 500, I think Grievous is a bad leader. So I think if any showcase is going to be worth money, it would be the Yoda and the Anakin. Moving on, though, we've got Count Dooku. I think this card's actually insane. It's probably one of the best rares from the set. Even if you don't use the full value of it, like sacrificing powerful cards, right? It's worst case, you could sacrifice 2 tokens to deal 1 damage to 2 things and play a 6/6 for 4 with Overwhelm. Like, I think Dooku is a house. He's definitely got to find a deck to fit into, but definitely one of the better rares. Then you go to like a bad legendary, you got Pyrrhic Assault. Not too surprising, and Planetary Invasion. I think I had those actually as my worst 2, but wouldn't surprise me if I did. Hu Yang, actually, being dirt cheap. I think this card's also really solid. Definitely one of the better cards. It could fit into aggro. It could fit into control. Like if you play an early Sentinel, like say you're playing, what's it's called? Kira, right? You play your Pike Sentinel on turn 1 and you play a Hu Yang on turn 2, and now you have a 4/5 Pike Sentinel, right? Like things like that. Like I think this card's a house. And then in aggro, it's kind of just like almost like a wing leader, but on a better body. But the effect's not permanent. I think it's good. Other sweet rares. What do we got? Sabine Wren is this super good aggro tool. Rares are kind of tough to evaluate price wise because like who knows what cost they'll end up. But this is a really good aggro tool, and also it has the kind of bonus effect of milling them and maybe doing damage or something. But just the fact that it can attack and then it basically unkillable. Super good. What else we got? Saw Gerrera. I think this card is really good. It's definitely an Anakin. I think it's better, but this thing almost I think is just so good because of the fact that it is a removal dodger, right? Like it's got 8 health, so you can't take down. It's got 4 attacks, so you can't fell the dragon. But when it attacks, it has 6 attack. Like, it's just a good setup of a card. And basically, it's a 6 cost 6/8 when attacking just straight up. And then it has the added benefit of being able to do some damage if you're damaged. So, I think this card's good. Moving on, though. Anakin, definitely good. But it's from the starter deck, so that don't really count, right? Shadowed Intentions could be terrifying. It's basically, I mean, it's basically Lurking Tie on a card. Not as dominant as Lurking Tie, but very close. Being able to slap this onto something could be game breaking depending on matchups. So I would keep an eye on that one for sure. What else do we got that really stands out to me particularly? Mace Windu likes it. I think Admiral Yularen is actually a bit better than people are giving it credit. I know people are already talking about this card in like Rex and token decks specifically, but there is the possibility in like sideboards for Sabine. I don't know if that's kind of been discussed or anything. I don't follow as much as I would like, but realistically, say you play this on your turn 3 in Sabine, like against a control deck, you can flip your Sabine freely, knowing that it is unkillable by a takedown because it's all heroism. It also has restore, so it could give you an edge in mirrors, maybe not, but it's not like Sundari with like raid 2 and restore 2, but it pumps all your units HP. So even then, maybe it could give you the edge in mirrors, right? Like you both play Battlefield Marines turn 1, and then you play a Yularen, and they've just played like a Fleet Lieutenant to hit your base. You can use your Marine to trade if you want, and then use it again to finish off the other trade. I think this card's got potential more than just Token Turbo, but I definitely see why Token Turbo likes it. Moving on, though. We're going to keep going. We're just cruising through here. I don't want to make this too long, but I also want to talk about some stuff, right? Stila Guerrera could be an okay card. Maybe an Anakin, maybe just in control heroism that's playing tactics, right? It's deal 2 is like your health is a resource at the end of the day. So you could just hurt yourself to search for an open fire or whatever you may need in said situation. It definitely can be good. Malevolence. I think this card is valuable on its own. It's definitely obviously better in exploit decks since you could have the option to play a 7/7 spaceship for a 1 resource that has restore 2. But at the end of the day, it also can just be a 7/7 spaceship with restore 2. It's not the worst thing in the world. The cost is kind of expensive, sure, but it's definitely got potential. Moving on, though. I actually hate this card, the Barris Officer. I know people are saying it's the cheapest Force Enabler, but it's a 1-drop 1/1. I mean, I guess there'll probably be one situation in your life where they play this into a Force throw on turn 1. Like, sure, right? But other than that, super bad. Just had to throw that out there. What else do we got? Anything of note so far? I think Enfys, I actually just passed it. Enfys Nest, though, we're going to go back and talk about this one because I think this card, Enfys Nest, I think this card's insane. Obviously, it's only for like mid-range and control, right? It's not going to go into aggro, but this gives like Han Yellow or any mid-range yellow heroism deck, it gives them another decent top-end card. And this card, especially with like pumps, right? Like I've been testing Anakin Yellow and like as a mid-range value deck, right? Like with a lot of high health stuff and just using my health to pump my dudes to make value trades. But this card particularly, if you get to this and you can use Anakin or use a Hotshot DL, this being able to constantly put back something with 6 or less attack in that state, so crazy. A lot of things come out with 6 or less attack. And then I feel like it's an endless value train. Like I think this card's super good. But it's got to be in the right deck also. Alright, we're going to move on, though. I don't want this video to be forever. I think I'm only going to go to 5 pages because I don't want it to be too long. But just wanted to give some ideas and opinions about the new stuff, right? I know people are looking forward to it. So am I. I'm looking forward to playing Constructed. I do not know what I'm playing yet. But I was going to play Chancellor Palpatine, but I'm missing a lot of the set 1 stuff. And I don't want to borrow that many cards. So I might do something else. I haven't fully decided. Moving on though. Invisible Hand, super good card in Dooku specifically, I think, but it's super good in Dooku. But other than that, it might just kind of be average. Who knows? I haven't tested out other token separatist exploit decks. I don't know. This card here, I think, has potential if you're playing a Republic style deck, right? Not definitely main, I would think, but like side deck. If you were playing like aggro versus aggro or something, or just Republic, that's value. I don't know. I haven't actually fully tested like a straight up Republic deck, but I know like Captain Rex is a lot of Republic. If you're playing into an aggro matchup and you think you don't have the race and you slam this in and all your tokens and whatnot gain restore 2, and if they die you get another one, like I think this card could be a swing card in aggro versus aggro if you're playing that, but it's got potential in my mind. Kalani's okay. Definitely a Dooku card. I don't like valuing cards generally based off of just one deck if I don't have to, but sometimes you do, though. We're going to go this last page here, see if anything stands out. R2. This is an uncommon, actually, but this is the hyperspace for $2. But definitely one of, if not the best card this set. 2/4 stat line's good on a 2-drop. Lets you cycle, draws into something better. You don't have to use it. Also, this card's cracked. What else do we have here, though? Hyperspace Anakin. Hey, if somebody wants to pay $8 for it, I'll sell it to you right now. I pulled one, actually. I went to my 3rd pre-release and they gave away OP packs and I actually got an Anakin, so that was kind of cool. But side note, they'll drop eventually, I think, right? They usually do, but maybe not, since it's from the starter deck. It'll go down a little bit at least regardless. Yeah, that pretty much looks like it. I think that's all we're gonna do this time. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're looking forward to from this set, what you're buying, what you're selling, whatever it may be. As a whole, I think the set's good, but the problem, I think, with buying boxes versus singles is a lot of the legendaries in this set aren't great, whereas like a lot of the rares, commons, uncommons, even the leaders are more exciting. So it's like you're basically just buying bulk and then the legendaries are a bonus, I guess, right? But I think the set itself has a lot to offer, but from a value standpoint alone, it does not. So let me know, like I said, if you have any ideas, if you think I missed something, if you think something else is going to be worth more or less, whatever, I am open to anything. And yeah, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.